Welcome to the Automotive Diagnostic Podcast. We're going to explore ways to sharpen our diagnostic skills, find learning resources, and hear from experts in the automotive field. This episode is brought to you by L1 Automotive Training and Keith Perkins. If you're looking for education on module programming, J2534, EEPROM work, key and immobilizer, electrical diagnostics, or drivability diagnostics, Keith has a website, l1training.com, that's got over 60 hours of training videos on all those subjects and more. When I first started out doing mobile, I utilized Keith's videos on module programming in J2534 in order to get my head wrapped around what I would need for the tooling, the computers, the software setups, what kind of obstacles I would be up against when I'm out there programming modules on cars. And it was a huge benefit to me. And I continue to use the training videos that he has on his website. So I strongly recommend checking out l1training.com. The link is in the show notes. Hey, what's going on, automotive world? Welcome to another episode of the Automotive Diagnostic Podcast. My name is Sean Tipping, and I'll be your host once again for this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. On the show this week, I've got Mike Lundgren and Steve Hauble joining me. We are ST Mobile. This is my mobile company that we run for keys, ADAS, programming, diagnostics, all that fun stuff. Steve is a technician. He's been on the show before. Of course, you probably heard me before. I'm on the show every once in a while. And then Mike Lundgren is also joining us. He is our administrator. We'll introduce him. He's kind of been behind the scenes doing the YouTube posts and moderating the page and a lot of that stuff. But we'll get to know him a little bit. This is a good episode. Get to chat with everybody and kind of share our experiences in the mobile world and look towards the future, what we've got going on with the company. So both these guys are great, so it is really cool to have them both on the show. With that out of the way, let's jump in. What's going on, gentlemen?
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Fantastic.
All right. We got Mike and Steve here today. Steve, you've been on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Once or twice?
Once.
Okay. And Mike, you have not been on the podcast before, so welcome.
Thank you. First time on the microphone.
Yeah. How you feeling? You nervous?
A lot of it, yeah. I'm used to just putting it out on YouTube. That's it.
Yeah, you're the man behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Doing all the YouTube like thumbnails and edits and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you've seen the pictures and the stuff that's been posted on the YouTube stuff, that's all Mike. So appreciate that work.
Yeah. I'm excited to make the thumbnail for this one. I get to pick my own picture.
Can you please let it be Steve with a flamethrower?
Yeah. Yeah. We got that picture, so I'll crop that and get that on there.
Perfect. We can get a new one, too, because I got it in the truck.
Yeah, Steve, tell us about your flamethrower. I think that's first order of business.
So I had a little too much to drink last weekend, and I ordered a flamethrower online. Turns out you can just go online and buy a flamethrower. Who knew?
Yeah, what'd you say? You researched the state laws on the...
Yeah, so I did. I've actually been looking into this for a while now. Turns out Minnesota has 0 laws regulating flamethrowers that I can find. And the federal government leaves flamethrowers up to the states. So,
as they should.
There is no laws say that I cannot own a flamethrower.
The wonderful country of the USA, leaving it up to the states.
Yep.
I think they'd also like to know, what do you plan on attaching this flamethrower to?
Yeah. So it's an underbarrel flamethrower designed to be attached to I think it's called a Picatinny rail. So I got an AR-15, a 50 caliber AR-15, and I'm going to attach the flamethrower to that.
Obviously for deer hunting, so that you can kill the deer and then cook it at the same time.
Sure.
I mean, it's all about being efficient.
Yeah, so you sent us a picture of trying it out the other night. So it's pretty good. Does it just work off of gas, or how does that?
Yeah, so you can pretty much put anything flammable in there.
Okay.
They say for best results, mix gasoline and diesel in 50-50.
Uh-huh.
So then from 30 feet away, you can shoot it. It'll go 30 feet, and it'll still be burning when it hits the ground.
America.
I like to start fires from 30 feet away.
You have the advantage of living kind of in the middle of nowhere, though. So I don't
fits
know if it
right
would
in.
work too well in my neighborhood. But there's a lot of children around all the time. So
Karen might get upset.
yeah, Karens don't like flamethrowers.
She'll have to stop her 15-hour mow job that she's doing to yell at you.
Well, yeah. So yeah, we are ST Mobile. Steve, you've been at it with me for over a year, and Mike, you started last August, so we're coming up on a year here pretty soon. So you're newer to this world. I mean, you worked some time in the automotive space,
Right.
Where was it? A couple different shops, Tires Plus, Fred's.
Tires Plus and Fred's. I was a tire tech. I refused to be called a lube tech because I didn't want grown-ass men referring to me with lube in the title. So I was always a tire tech.
Gotcha. How long did you do that for?
It was about 3 years.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then you were doing staffing, sales, a couple other things in between there, or up until this?
Yep. I was at Express staffing for about 5 years, and before that, I was doing sales. I built fire trucks for a year, and
Okay.
so kind of more on the sales and customer service side of things.
What do you think of this side of things so far in the 9 or 10 months that you've been doing it so far? It's definitely a different world, especially, I mean, even if you're just in a shop, this is kind of a different perspective.
I mean, yeah, definitely. The vocabulary is a lot looser. I don't have to be. You have to be professional, but you can be a little looser, so I can actually let my personality shine a little bit more.
Okay.
Whereas, in the staffing and it's more professional, I'd have to wear business casual every day, and I mean, I work from home I did at the start a lot of the time, so I wouldn't even wear pants.
I honestly hope you let a few of our customers know that, like, hey, I don't have pants on right now. What do you need?
Oh, I have. That's the nice thing is being direct with customers, not direct in talking, but dealing directly with customers. As you get to know them, you grow kind of a friendship. I think one of our shops called me like 4 times in one day, and then all of a sudden we're like, did we just become best friends? Yup.
Yeah, you got the right personality for the. Maybe I should explain for everybody listening. You're kind of an administrator for SC Mobile. You do handle all the phone calls, the dispatch, the schedule, customer relation, collecting on bills, ordering parts, all that stuff. And but you got the right personality to interact with the customers. Obviously, I did it up until then, but that's not my forte. And as much as I like working with the shops, like, I don't like answering phone calls all day and dealing with people all day long. I want on the cars, right? So it works out pretty well. We got a pretty good dynamic there.
Oh, definitely. It's like merging two worlds together, right?
Yeah.
Lets you focus on what you're good at, and I get to come in with what I'm good at. I mean, growing up, my dad was the biggest personality I knew next to my grandpa, who every time we went out to eat, like if we were at a Mexican restaurant, you'd ask them where in Mexico they were from, and I had to remind them, not everybody in a Mexican restaurant is from Mexico, Grandpa. I grew up with these personalities that had no problem just saying what they wanted and making friends everywhere they went. So
Yeah. Oh, that's good. No, yeah, like I said, you got the right personality for it, and it works out well. I know a lot of our customers enjoy the interactions. And yeah, you can be a little candid too. I think that works well in our industry, just the vibe that most repair shops have. Now, I get it. There's definitely places that maybe operate more on a professional scale or don't like fun, or but like most shops, it's got a little bit of a looser vibe to it compared to other industries. And I don't know, maybe that's not a good thing. There's lots of aspects about the automotive industry, like we want more professionals so we can get paid more, but it is what it is, and it's kind of a loosey-goosey atmosphere for the most part.
And that's where the dynamic of me coming from a professional side helps me in a way, because I know how to toe the line in a sense. Like before I was doing staffing though, what also helped is I sold car parts over the phone. So I got used to talking to shop managers and stuff like that. So it was a good merge of the two. So like I know although there was that one guy that I let my ego get the best of, and he wanted to talk to you, not me.
Yeah.
But it's just finding that nice dynamic of who they are and just style flexing.
Yeah. There's definitely some ego in this industry, but it's a bunch of dudes. So what do you expect? Like that's gonna happen. I found with a lot of what we do, specifically like the programming, the diag, is just be right about whatever we're doing. Like be correct, be accurate, and boy, it takes a lot of that out of it. Like there's not a whole lot of ego to be had if you're correct. And I mean, we were just talking before we went to recording about somebody who decided not to work with us, but in that situation, like we didn't do anything wrong. We did exactly what we were supposed to do and how we do it, and we explained it to them. I didn't like that. Okay, we're moving on from that relationship. But for the most part, as long as we're just accurate in what we do, it just works out and cuts out a lot of that BS,
Oh yeah, and
absolutely.
Like what you've said more on a lot of these podcasts is documentation. If you can prove that you're right, that's the biggest thing.
Yep.
You like, did you look at that on the email? And that I've used that plenty of times when they're like, hey, your programming didn't work, and I said, well, did you check out the email? Oh, no, I didn't check out the attachments. We're like, well, it's all there.
Yep.
And then their tune changes pretty quickly.
Oh yeah. It is amazing. Like, and we've had that plenty of times where like, if you have that documentation of, hey, look, here's the timestamp, here we did it, or here this code was here beforehand, and we have the pre-scan to show it, and they're just like, oh, okay, and then it really ends right there. But even if it's not a situation where they're coming at us with something, even just when it comes to like cost and paying bills and paying for our time, like just being right about stuff, providing a solution, like it just cuts out a lot of the BS. Like, hey, here's the fix. It fixes your problem. We provided a solution for you. Like, that's it. There's not a whole lot else. They're gonna pay for it. And that's what really works out the best.
Right. And that one customer I was talking about, I did use the, hey, is that car fixed? And he goes, well, yeah. And then that's where I learned my lesson on this customer, and I kind of was like puffed up a little bit, but like, well, then what's the problem? Pay us. But that wasn't how I should have handled it. But you mess up and you learn from it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, there are a lot of different personalities that you have to work with to figure out. It is like recognizing how that person operates, and maybe how much they inject their ego into what they do, what they seem valuable, and try to pick up on that stuff. Like we have a customer, and we both know who we're talking about, who just is talking like a million miles a minute, and then when he stops talking, he's not listening to you. He's just thinking about the next thing he's going to say. And I know that was tough for both of us to work with this guy, because he doesn't listen. He's not listening to anything you say. And at first it's like, bro, I just told you, like, but he's not listening. He's just thinking about the next thing he's going to say, and blah, 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 blah. But once you kind of figure that out, it's a little bit easier to work with him. And you're like, okay, well, he's not going to listen to anything. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. And then just go do our thing anyways.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And it also, like, because we deal in the cities and we deal in the sticks and everywhere in between. So realizing how to talk to the guy up north compared to the guy that's in, say, Edina. It's a different way to talk and handle business. And
sure.
You got to style flex that way, too. And, yeah, it's like that shop we're talking about is in the cities and kind of the richer area. So you got to know.
Yeah. Check out Mighty Ducks if you're unfamiliar with Edina. Cake eaters.
Cake eaters. Yep. Where Adam Banks originally played.
It was a whole zip code thing. But, yeah, it definitely, and we cover a wide range. That is something unique too. Is like we are definitely out in people's pole barns in the sticks. Like, I mean, especially up where you're at, Steve. There's a lot of like just little random places out in the middle of nowhere. But then we're also down in the Twin Cities, like in a heavy metro area, which is a completely different vibe. And they do have different customers too. That's the other thing.
Oh, big time different customers.
Yeah, and you can tell kind of how a shopper operates. It is interesting. Like, so how a shop operates, they attract certain customers based on how they do their business. Even down in the cities, that's the case. And then that changes how we interact with them too.
Yep.
Yeah, we have a wide range for sure. And that is something that I know both of us had to learn of, like, oh, this guy's calling. You almost get into like a different mindset when you pick up the phone with shop A versus shop B, because it's going to be a completely different animal. And like, you need to explain things very specifically for this one shop where, you know, this other shop, they've got it figured out, or they're going to handle things in a different way. Yeah, it is a wide range for sure.
Oh, you could probably tell which shops I'm talking to if you're around me based upon how I answer the phone.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even for you, Steve, I'm sure you're in a different mindset depending on the shop that we're going into.
Oh, absolutely. Like you were saying, we got the shops up north that are in the middle of nowhere, in somebody's pole barn. You know, you're much more like laid back, and there it is, get it done. And then the other shops that are like, I want to know everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
How are you programming this? What are you using? Like, that was one of the shops I went to yesterday. Was like that. The guy wanted to go for a ride with me because I was doing that dynamic calibration. He wanted to know everything that was happening and how it was happening. And
sure.
The guys up north are just like, yeah, go fix the damn car.
Yep.
Is the light off when you're done? That's all I care about.
I do know the place that you're talking about, Steve. We haven't been there that many times, but I went there the first time, and yeah, they asked me, I think, 100,000 questions while I was there.
Nope,
nice guys.
Oh, yeah, super nice guy.
They wanted to know everything. What are you programming with? Where'd you buy that from? What tool is that? What's the software on that? Wait.
Yeah, but I've run into that a few times down there too. Like, there are certain shops that just want to know everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's they don't trust you or that's just how they are until you build a relationship.
I think that place, they're genuinely curious because they do some of it themselves.
Yeah, because the guy that rode with me, he was super interested in like where I went to school. Like, that's what he wanted to know. Like, after he was done asking me, like, because I had to tell him, yeah, this is Chrysler software. The dealerships have this stuff, and that's the Chrysler pod.
Sure.
Once we got past all that, like, I know what I'm doing. Then it was, oh, well, you actually, how'd you learn all this, and where'd you go to school and all that? So.
Yeah, there's certain technicians that will talk your ear off too while you're there, which it can be a good and bad thing. Like, I've made some good friendships, and I've gotten a lot of other work out of making friendships with techs. Like, they go from shop A to shop B, they recommend us there, now all of a sudden we have a new shop because they trust this guy that they're working with, and they get us in there too. But then there are certain individuals where, like, you can't get anything done because they won't stop talking.
Yeah, I know a few shops like that as well.
I'm like, hang on, I really got to pay attention to this for a minute here, dude.
There's that one shop right off of 23 that the tech just talks your ear off every time you're there.
Yeah. There's a handful of people that I'm thinking of that just they're going to, and all of them super nice guys too.
Oh, absolutely.
But man,
Absolutely.
like I wonder, how do you get anything done?
Like, there's a couple of guys where if I wasn't on the clock, like, yeah, let's grab a couple of beers and just hang out for a couple
exactly.
hours.
It'd be fantastic. We're just like hanging around, shooting the breeze with these guys. But if I want to actually be productive,
Oh yeah, no.
it's just like, how do you get anything done?
Yep.
Like, you had Chawl as the instructor at Sentry, right?
Yes, I did. His last year.
Yeah, and so it's same vibe there. Where if, like, you were guaranteed of having a half-hour discussion, like if you caught him, just in the hallway or something. And I always wondered, like, how do you get anything done? Because he does that with everybody all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do you get anything done? Or you just talk to people for
Sometimes
like
all it took was
45 minutes?
asking a question, and he would go off on this tangent in class for however long. And,
But yeah, everybody's got a different style, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
pretty much.
I've been known to be brief, especially in phone calls, of just like, yeah, what? Yeah, it's this. Okay, and then I don't even say bye, and I just hang up the phone.
You've never done that to me.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like you're just like frustrated with something. Like, okay, well, cool.
Like there are days where I have to remind myself, like, he's just in the mode. He's trying to get things done.
Yeah,
this isn't personal. Like he's just in the mode. Like, is he crabby? Did I do something? Nope, he's just in the zone. So like, just okay.
No, I have the exact same thoughts sometimes. But like he said, it's nothing personal. He's just wants to get stuff done and get it done.
Efficient. Let's get it done.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So.
And I'll sit there and talk to you. I'm one of those techs.
Yeah, because that's what I'll do. I'll be sitting there programming like shops that have these guys that just talk to you. Oh, yeah. Just talk to them the whole time I'm programming. And then, well, I'm done, so I got to go. So,
Yep.
And I don't mind those besides when I'm out there programming. Like, I've finally gotten my confidence down in programming. Where, okay, I can have a conversation, but at the start I was like, quit talking to me. I don't want to brick your module.
Yep. If it's something I haven't done before, and I'm just like, oh, dude, like, I really like trying to read it. Or a diagnostic's another one where I'm like, I can't have a intricate conversation with you while I'm trying to figure out how this component works. But yeah, if it's new software, I've never used it before, I'm trying to like figure it out. I'm like, can't talk to you right now, man.
Like, how do I politely tell you to fuck off? Like,
yeah. I think I give off that vibe of like, I'm busy. And they leave me alone. But I don't want to be that like just douchebag guy that comes in and he's like, oh, the crabby programmer's here. Like, and I don't think any of us give off that vibe. No. But I don't want to do that, but I also have to. Okay, I got to focus on my work.
You also don't want to be that guy where they're like, "Oh, the programmer's here."
Shop managers and owners will be upset when the tool guy shows up, not because they're buying tools necessarily, but because they're going to be on the truck for 45 minutes. Yep. But the tool truck guy is a salesman, and he's schmoozing, and that's what you do. So it's I get it.
You don't want to be. You want to be right in the middle for the most part.
Yep, you got to have the relationships. I mean, that's half of what we do is about the relationships, and so you can't just be like cold, hard programming all the time and not have any personality at all. It's like it's not going to work.
All right, they say people buy from people they like, so it's you can't be an asshole, or you can't be that time suck either. So.
Yep. What is your guys' favorite and least favorite part about what we do specifically? I don't. Either one of you can start.
My hands are so clean and they don't hurt anymore.
I know what his least favorite is.
Yes, so do I.
Why don't you tell the people, Steve?
No, I was a mechanic for a long time and I don't work on cars anymore, so that's my favorite.
And what do you not like about it?
Say it, Steve.
You have a pile of them sitting over there.
Oh, yeah. Keys. Keys are my enemy.
The key gods have chosen to smite you.
I'm at a point right now where it's about 50% of the keys I go to, there is something wrong. Like, something doesn't work. Like, what was it yesterday? The correct part number had the wrong security chip in it. It was the correct part number. I had 2 keys of that part number. They both had the same chip in it, but it was the wrong chip according to the website.
You've had like every weird ass key problem that could happen, and in like consecutive visits to vehicles. I'm like, how is this possible?
Oh, you mean like when the key programs to the vehicle just fine and the fob programs to the vehicle just fine? You hit the unlock button and the trunk opens?
Yeah,
Those
like
Subarus.
that. I was like, is Steve like smashing these keys on the ground before he programs them? Like, did someone put them in the microwave before you got them, or? Yeah.
Like, did you do something to a key back when you were a child so all keys hate you?
What's the backstory here?
Back when I was a child, GMs had 2 keys. They weren't electronic.
Yeah, that has been. I'm frustrated for you. I can only imagine what you feel like, because it's been rough. So I'm just and then like I'll go and it just works.
Exactly. That's the part that gets me more than anything. Is I will spend hours trying to get this key work, and then Sean goes there and your problem was I had no problems. Of course you didn't. Of course you didn't. Why would you?
Oh yeah. Well, was it yesterday? I had a procedure that was going forever, and I was like, I hadn't seen this procedure for a while, like either a while or ever. And the second I call Sean to ask why is this taking so long, it finished up. I was like, of course. And he didn't even answer. I hung up and he called me back. He goes, "Yeah, sorry, I missed your call." I go, "Oh, it doesn't matter now." All I needed to do was inform the computer that you were about to be on the phone.
Or else you'll be struggling with something for however long, hour or two, and you call Sean. He's like, "Yeah, just do this and this," and then it just works. And awesome.
Yeah, that sweet car yesterday with the push start.
Which one was that?
The Camry, the 05 Camry that they replaced and they don't tell me anything about the car, of course, when I get there, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yep. And so they replaced the ignition cylinder. So we're just there to program the keys. And so I hadn't done it before, so I called you right off the bat. But it wasn't programming, the security light wasn't turning on. Then you look back at your notes and realize we had to cycle it 5 times. And, of course, then it worked. And so I get off the phone with you, and I try to start it up. The security light's not coming on, the car's not starting. Well, this guy hardwired into his ignition push to start button. I go to the mechanic. I go, "Why isn't this vehicle started? You got something else disconnected?" And he goes, "Oh, check this out." Hops in. And the only reason they had to replace the lock cylinder is just to unlock the ignition. Because then obviously with the security. Then,
I was gonna say, did it even need the security learned then? Did they
maybe it didn't. It had
no,
to
it would
have
still have the
immobilizer
immobilizer
function.
function.
Yeah.
Immobilizer.
Okay.
But yeah,
okay.
and then it just the goofiest looking thing.
Yeah, you sent us a picture of this thing hanging
Just
down under the
floppy.
day.
And yeah, he goes, "Check this out," and turns the key to the on position, and then grabs this thing and starts right up.
Well, if it makes you guys feel any better, I get my ass kicked all the time. So
I
there just happens to be plenty of those moments where I'm just like, "Oh yeah, just do this."
This is how we learn.
Yep. Well, I mean, even we were trying to use YTech the other day or yesterday.
Oh yeah, yesterday.
And I'm like, I can't even get it to start, and then you open up your computer and it just works. We're using the exact same pod on the exact same car with, I think we changed internet, but I think I was using your internet at one point, and mine is just undoable. You can't move forward, and then you open up your computer and it works. So
easy.
Sometimes it's just okay. Get the other person on.
Yeah,
something.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of that.
Yeah, it's nice to have the ability sometimes to do that. Okay, let's switch this up. You go here, I'll go here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that seems to take care of a lot of problems too. So, yeah. What about you, Mike? What's favorite, least favorite? I am happy to have Automotive Seminars as a sponsor for the show. Now, if you're not familiar, Automotive Seminars is a diagnostic technician training company. They've got a website that there'll be a link to in the show notes. And what they offer is top-notch training to technicians like us in the field. I've been taking their training courses for years and have got a ton of benefit out of it. They've got top-notch instructors, John Thornton, Scott Shotton, Scott Manna, and every other month they've got a 2-night course that you can sign up for. Join in, ask questions, and afterwards, you've paid for the course, you can access a recorded version whenever you want. You can rewatch the class 2 years later in case you wanted some details on it. And that is a fantastic feature. So make sure to check out the website to see what courses they have available and what's coming up in the future.
I would say my favorite is the variety. Like we were talking earlier, the difference in personalities, the difference in shops, the mobile aspect is you're not stuck in one place for too long. You get it done, then you're off to the next, and it's just a variety of things. It's not the same. It's the same repetitive stuff, but in a different flavor in a sense.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you can end up doing very similar jobs over and over again, especially with the programming. But, like, it's a different vehicle. It's a different atmosphere, different group of people. Like, you're potentially going to see, 6 different groups of individuals every day. And so it's very different than working in one location with the same people.
Well, in that end, if you get your ass kicked at work and you have one place you worked at, and it stays right away in the morning, you're stuck in that building with those people where you're in a pissed off mindset because this whatever happened.
Yep.
And you really can't go anywhere till like lunch, and then you come back and it's the same assholes.
Yep.
Whereas if you say your first job, you get your ass kicked and you're kind of pissy. You get to hop in your vehicle once you're done and go, and you get that little time to yourself to kind of woo-saw yourself back into the right mindset.
The drive time between shops sucks because it's a productivity killer, but it is a nice mental break between jobs, which is something I never got at a shop. Like, you get your ass kicked on a vehicle and okay, you finally finish this vehicle, great, it's done, and then immediately there's another one on your hook right there for the next ass kicking or break job that you don't want to do or whatever.
I used to hate that so much. You just get your ass kicked by one job, and then there was 8 more lined up.
Oh yeah, we have another one of those rusty manifolds for you.
Here's another turbos on an F-150 or whatever. Turbos on a, what was it? It was the Ford Taurus show. Do a couple of those back to back.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, we definitely have some repetitive jobs, like our more common ones we're going to do over and over. But within a day, there's almost some variety every single day. Whether it be like, hey, now you're on a key job, now you're on an ADAS job, now you have a diag, whatever. Like, it's rarely you're doing the exact same thing all day. I'm sure there's probably a couple of days where that's been the case, but
in my days.
Yeah. Well, you've been programming for us, which has been really, really helpful, and I think it's helpful for both of us because you get to experience what you're talking to the shops about.
Yeah.
Like on the phone. And like you were saying, the lingo of like PCM, TCM, BCM, whatever.
What was it that still gets me?
APM.
No, not APM. That one did, but no, it was what was it? Chrysler's fuse box.
It's a TIPM.
The TIPM.
And then techs will call the TCM the
TECM.
Yeah, that one got me for a while.
Sure. Yeah. Like which one are you talking about? Right.
And I had to remember like Chrysler, GM, Ford, like
right.
For like if they're saying, it as a Ford, then I know which one we're talking.
And then you get ADAS in here. It's just acronym soup on this stuff. Yeah. Like, wait, which thing are we? Like, I even still struggle with the ACC, the ICC. Like, each individual manufacturer will have their own individual acronyms for these different systems. And I'm trying to figure out which one goes to what. And then you got hybrid systems and key stuff. And yeah, it's tough to get your head wrapped around all this stuff and understand what it is until you actually physically deal with it. But that's the thing, like you get your ass kicked by it a couple times, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna remember what a TECM is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how we learn. Get your ass kicked by something and then you'll never forget it.
So you like the variety, what do you not like about this?
Well, I guess it's a love hate, but it's the learning curve because there is so many different things like keys, man. It drives me nuts because I am a perfectionist to a point where like I hate messing up and I hate it so bad and I beat myself up too much probably over the mistakes I make. But it's like you'll have what was it that RAV4 where it's like well the Japanese one or and in my brain, like, how would I know that there's a Japanese version of this? Or, I mean, I should know, but it's like, unless, like, it's taught me to slow down a little more and read a little bit more into it and go more in depth. Because you'll have vehicles where they have the same exact key fob same key with the fob on it, same exact buttons. They'll look identical, but there's two different versions of it.
Yep.
And so it just takes a little bit more work and you got the right one.
Well, and then sometimes when you do everything correctly and you get the correct key, though we still get screwed over by aftermarket keys.
Yep. Like Steve was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That was the exact right key.
Yep. That Toyota Sienna that we had, that was the correct key. Well, except for aftermarket doesn't work on this. And how do you know that until you try? And
the people selling them aren't telling you that,
right.
Hey, this isn't going to work.
Yeah. By the way, we've sold like 100 of these. Everyone's returned them, but we'll sell to you too.
Yours might work. It'll be the first one.
You could be the first. Yeah. Keys are really frustrating for sure. I mean, I think each area of what we do has its own frustrations, right? Like diag, obviously, it can be extremely frustrating. And I've been dealing with that a lot lately. Like intermittent stuff is extremely frustrating, and just
stops lying about it.
Yeah, right.
That drives me nuts because then it makes me look bad in a sense. Like it happens every time, and then when you get out there, they're like, yeah, it happens every 5th Tuesday of the month, but only when the full moon's out. Like, why'd you tell my guy? Oh, I didn't tell him that.
Yeah. They just want to get us out there in those certain circumstances.
I'm gonna say, or like that one where they told me, oh yeah, it's setting these codes for the intake runner, and then because I looked at it, needed an intake. They cleaned out the intake and it was still acting up. So you go out there and no, they don't care about the codes for the intake runner. It dies after a while or it just randomly shuts down.
Yeah. Well, that is the thing, and it definitely depends on the customer. Of like, you have to interrogate them to get what you want out of them, and it's like I'm dealing with the actual owner of the vehicle a lot of the time because that's what I had to do as a tech. Is like you have to do this interrogation bit to get everything out of them that you need, and I guess I get it more with a regular customer because they don't understand what we need to know or why a particular piece of information might be valuable to us. But when it comes to these shops, I'm so frustrated because like you guys should get it. You guys should get why I need to know this stuff. Why would you withhold information when it's at all relevant to what we're doing? But that does happen, and it makes me wonder, like, is it on purpose? Like, do they enjoy seeing us struggle a little bit? Do they want that, like, get their money's worth out of it? What is the thing behind it? But yeah,
boost them up a little bit.
Maybe
Smarty Pants isn't figuring it out.
There's a couple
as they're holding the fuse that would solve the problem.
There's a couple shops where I'm somewhat convinced that is the mindset. One particular guy, I'm like, I know he enjoys it when I struggle. I know he enjoys it. And I don't know. People are weird.
That's the great explanation to it is just people are going to people.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. We're still dealing with people. I enjoy not having to deal with the general public for the most part. Again, keys is where we kind of get exposed to that somewhat.
Keys are printing money, so it's hard.
Yeah.
You deal with that frustration because when it goes right, oh my goodness. Like we have that one shop where we'll show up and they'll be like, hey, do you have this key? Do you have this key? Do you have this key? And all of a sudden, like we made, what was it, like $1,500 in a couple of hours.
Yep. Yeah, just cranking keys out. So when it goes good, it's good, and then you get all that other BS along with it too. But it's nice to have the different varieties of what we do too, because like you guys have seen it, there's just waves of stuff. Like one week that's all we're doing is keys, And then I think there was like a good 2-week span where I'm like, I don't think I turned my key machine on. I'm just cranking out the diag, and then it's ADAS, and then it's programming, and having the variety of services I think has really worked out well for us to just fill all the time. So we're always busy with something. There's always something to do or some problem to solve. It's just they all seem to come in waves for some reason or another.
Right. It's like they hold back.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense in the shop more of like, okay, yeah, this is the season for tires. This is the season for brakes and wheel bearings and stuff like that. Ours is a little bit more strange. I don't know what the patterns are as far as like why we're doing so many keys this week and then why we're doing so many ADAS this week. It just ends up being that way, but
Certain shops you can tell the patterns based upon what time of the month, because like they're used dealerships, so well, this is
sure.
time of the month when the auctions happen, so
yeah
they're getting their stock in, and so they want keys.
Yep.
But I mean, there was certain like tax time, all of a sudden it got super busy.
Oh yeah.
And it was people finally fixing problems, and that's what brought in like the weirdest diags possible.
yeah. It definitely follows the traditional patterns, and obviously when the shops are busier, we're busier. But yeah, that March tax time, springtime, we get cranked up all the way until State Fair, which is the end of August around here, back to school, and then we fall off. And then it picks back up around snow time, up until Christmas, then it falls off until tax time. And like that cycle has always been present as long as I've been in the industry, and we see the effects of that too. Although I will say, like, this winter, even though it was super mild up here, like we had no snow, we did really well. Like we had a really good January.
Yep. Oh yeah, all the shops were super busy this winter.
Yeah. We had, it was like second or third best month this year was January, which should not have been the case. Like usually after Christmas, everybody just hides their wallets and doesn't spend any money, but it's been good. Things are cranking along. We got a shop now.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Did you forget?
I did.
Well, that's the thing. I'll go like 4 or 5 days without even being there because we don't utilize it every single day, but it's nice to have. Been good to have a little home base and store some stuff there, do some work there, ADAS, that sort of thing.
I like it for the ADAS stuff. It is so nice. You just have a nice open space with nothing there just to do ADAS.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the stack of paint cans or the other cars in the way or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, like yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. Got it figured out. That's the important part.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, the office is nice. For me, I enjoy working from home, being able to put my kids on the bus, be there when they get off the bus. But there is times where I just need office space and then no distractions. So having that has been a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Kind of productivity saver, I guess. Because there was a little bit where I'd be working and then I'd be like, oh, I should put laundry in, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm like, crap, I was supposed to be doing work stuff.
Yep.
Because you see one thing wrong, then you go see another thing wrong, and all of a sudden you're like, crap, and then the phone would bring me back into real life, and I'm like, okay, I need to not be at home.
It's so easy to find distractions when you're at home. I give props to anybody who's like still doing the remote thing and productive from home, because I can be, but only for a period of time, and then I'm like, oh, this thing over here, I need to do this.
Squirrel.
Yeah, all right.
That's when I'd get excited, when someone would call and be like, yeah, I need a program done. I'm on my way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been nice to have the shop too, to like, if we have an individual customer, like not a shop, can meet us there, and we less of going to people's houses, because that was some of the shadier work that we've been involved in, of like, you were at one last week. It was like, it's probably not the place we really want to be with all of our equipment.
Yeah, no, I agree. I pulled up to that house and, are you sure? Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have the permit to carry, so
that
helps. Makes me feel a little better.
Yes, definitely. So being able to get people to the shop is definitely a good thing for that stuff. Like, I don't want to do a ton of individual work, but we get it. And the key stuff, you definitely get it. So
it's nice for the keys too. That's the other big thing too. People just bring your car on down. We'll make a key. I don't wanna. Well,
all right.
Okay then.
And it's given me an excuse to make people either A, go to a shop to get the work done, or B, come to us, or Steve, it's probably not somebody we want to deal with.
Yep. Exactly.
And I mean, for the most part, we do mobile to help also shops. Like, we're not just in it to line our pockets. We want to help them make money too. And so if somebody's like, well, I want to go through you because it's going to be cheaper, like, I get it. But at the same time,
yeah, not necessarily the customer that I'm looking for. So
sometimes we get shops that don't want to deal with people, so they could just give them a number.
Yeah, we
get that a lot.
Been plenty of that. And like you were saying the other day, like, you could pick up on that. You're like, oh, that's what they gave you our number because they don't want to deal with you.
Yep. Right. Yep. Yeah. And then that's the nice thing is that our insurance doesn't cover us at your house. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, that's the easy out for sure. Well, we got new guys starting here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Growing. That's the biggest thing is
really
getting bigger, getting busier.
Yeah. I'm excited to have another person on board, and we can divide up the work a little better and maybe play to people's strengths a little bit more, which I'm looking forward to. So
strengths and locations.
Yeah, that too. We got it geographically covered fairly well now. Although, like, yeah, me and Steve are both more north. You guys are both more southeast. But, like, as far as the cities go, we can cover the area pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, we're pretty much both in the cities every day. Well, three of us.
Yeah,
for sure. The knowledge, too. Like, Steve was a general mechanic, but then he went to the dealership, so he had a little bit more Chrysler knowledge on top of his general knowledge. Well, this guy, he's been Toyota. So now we got somebody with a wider variety of dealership knowledge that maybe we didn't have.
And we got a flamethrower expert, so that's good.
My new favorite toy.
Yeah, no need to bring guns. You just bring a flamethrower around with you.
Don't need a permit to bring the flamethrower.
Don't need it. Just make sure you don't store that above the gas tank in the van.
Like, the passenger seat, of course.
Oh, why did our gas bill go up for the vehicles? What is this tube coming out of your gas tank, Steve?
Steve's gas bill for the month is like $1,500.
Been more quick trip stops lately.
He's got it mounted to the top of the van. Just
every time someone cuts me off, they only do it once.
When your van's red, it's perfect. It's the legit fire truck.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have another guy on, which means I won't have to do as much programming, which I'll miss. I'll definitely miss and whatnot, because I enjoyed getting out there and getting into shops, but it opens me up to do what I was brought on to do, and hopefully gives me the chance to still go out to shops, but at a more of an ambassador role than a technician role. Yeah.
Then we've had you do that with hey, bring donuts or lunch out to this place or flyers out to here and all that good stuff. So yeah, and that's where you, like, as far as playing to strengths, like, you're the best at that for sure. Like, I'll show up and be like, you want your car fixed or
yeah, hopefully grow the business some more, get out there and shake some more hands. I mean, there's no babies to kiss on this campaign trail, but that's it's a good thing.
You never know. Things could change. It's possible.
With the rising cost of childcare, people might just be bringing their babies with them to work.
That's the new shop strategy. It was like auto repair / daycare.
I mean, sometimes it is daycare when you're a shop manager and you got all these techs out there.
Yeah, that is true. It feels like it some days. Like, am I taking care of children here?
Yeah, definitely excited bringing the new guy on and seeing what he can do. See where we can take this thing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And you give us all some more flexibility too. Like the more people you have, like obviously it's more to manage, but then, you know, potential like Steve needs to take a couple weeks off or something for whatever. Like it's not 50% of what we're doing. It's still a big chunk, obviously, but it gives us that flexibility. Like, oh, you need some time off? All right, cool. Like we're not going to drown because that person's gone for a little bit.
Right.
And
It's not like there was 2 weeks a couple months ago where Steve and I had to do everything.
you guys did awesome. So.
No, it actually went really well.
It did.
It
It
really
did.
did.
Yeah.
Went smoothly.
That was awesome. Yeah, when
And
I
then
was
with the third person here, another person, it would have went that much better. So
so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're lucky to find somebody. So it was definitely like a different hiring process than finding you guys. I knew you guys prior, obviously. So a little different.
25, 24 years.
give or take, yeah.
Which, I mean, I think most people would tell you not to do that, to hire your friends. But I don't know, we've always worked out pretty well
It's not
together.
our first time working together, so
True. Well, and we all lived together for a period of
many
time.
years, but
So
Steve and I just look like we're following your coattails everywhere you go.
pretty much, yeah. I mean,
You buy a house, we move it. You start a company, we get new jobs.
well, you guys are supporting me at every step of the way. So that's the way I look at it.
Plus, I got free updates on my Jeep working here, so that was pretty nice. Updates I didn't need.
Yeah, you're the architect of the hiring ad that a few people probably saw on Facebook. So
Oh, the video.
yeah.
That was, it might have looked like it, but that wasn't my first video advertisement.
Right. Yeah, you did a lot of that with Express.
Yep.
The was it the Mike Farley or
Yeah. Yep. We I used to be a lot more heavier set, so we do a spin-off of the Matt Foley from Saturday Night Live. With
give us a little bit.
well, now I'm on the spot. Well, Lonnie freaking die! Oh, you need your Tecum replaced and programmed. Is that John tipping over there? I can't see too well.
I remember when you did that, like full get up and everything.
Yep.
And then did you even like smash a table too?
God, yeah, and I bought the table that I jumped through, and you think I would have been smart enough to buy a crappy table, but no. I bought the sturdiest table to jump through, and like
This is solid oak.
yeah, just pounced on it too. Luckily, I was like 300 pounds, so I went through the table. No table stood a chance, but my shoulder hurt for a while. But then, yeah, that was fun because then I'd go a couple different places, and people were like, "Oh, I saw you on the internet," and like, well, it's good that you saw me on those kind of videos because you're not going to recognize me from any other kind of videos. But yeah, that was fun. It was an interesting hiring process because like I worked at Express. That was my whole job, was getting people jobs, and the market is for this.
Yeah.
What we were looking for just is dry.
Yep.
It's insane.
Yep. I mean, we've seen it out in shops. Like every single shop is looking for a technician, and so like just technicians in general are short supply, and now we want to specialize in particular areas. And you think, or at least my initial thought process was like, oh, this is a really cool thing that somebody could get into, but I don't know that it's viewed necessarily that way by the majority of people. They're probably like, oh, that looks, really intimidating or hard, or I don't know how to do any of that stuff. And so yeah, we didn't get a ton of applications.
And that's the thing. If you're anybody listening to this and you want to get into programming, the first hurdle obviously is the financial side of things, right?
Yeah, just getting the stuff.
I got lucky and you had all the stuff, but you can teach a monkey to do programming. If I can do programming, yes, I only do GM and Ford. Anybody out there, especially if you're listening to this podcast, if you're thinking about it, get into it. It's interesting, it's fun, and it's not that hard. Yeah, I mean, it is at first. Right?
It's good to have somebody to call when things go wrong.
Yeah, I have that.
But if you have that, which with today's connections that you can make online, you could probably find somebody like, yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, programming is usually the easy part of my day.
Yep.
It's easy until it isn't, right?
Well, that's just it. It's like anything. It's easy until it isn't. So when it goes bad, it goes bad. Like GM doesn't work today, or Chrysler doesn't. I mean,
Ford doesn't. Yeah.
Or Ford programming. How if you don't have the original module, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're SOL.
Yeah, that's the fun part. When you get the wrong module, the used game.
Yeah.
The used parts game.
Yeah.
But really, once you figure it out and your equipment, if your equipment's working that day, it's super easy. If your equipment isn't working that day, it's going to
tech lines down terrible. On a Friday.
Yeah. I'll spin the wheel of which software is going to be broken today.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. But,
but yeah, when it all goes smoothly.
Oh, it's great.
Hit some buttons and in and out and easy peasy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's if you're mechanically inclined, programming should be a part of your repertoire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, expand what your knowledge is and be more of an asset to where you work. Because if you can program, you can put us out of a job.
We'll teach you how to do it.
And I mean, yeah, if anybody listening here is in the Twin Cities area, we're eventually going to need somebody else. So keep that in mind.
It's, yeah, a lot of the stuff we do, like, will come in a lot of times it'll look easy.
Yeah.
For what we do, especially when it goes well. But then, you know, they're not necessarily seeing all of the ass kickings that all of us have had.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, the 50% of keys that don't work for Steve. The other 50% look real simple. Like, oh, you charge us that much for this? And, well...
That I had I can't remember which shop it was. The guy comes up to me. He goes, "I've seen Sean come in here and program something and be in and out. But it seemed like at the start, Sean was just sitting in these cars to make it feel like we were getting our value." And I'm like, "Well, he was actually probably researching for his next job, or with like tech line. Sometimes you got to unplug and plug in, unplug.
Yeah.
Get out of tech line, get back into it. Like if the software is working perfectly, you could be in and out in 10 minutes.
Yep. Right, but is it going to be that day?
Right. So, like, when you're sitting in a car for a while and they're just looking at you like, yeah, I should be done, yes, but things aren't going right.
Yeah, and that's part of what we do is, like, we're able to deal with the problems when they come. You know, that's part of the gig of, like, we're taking on those, like, fringe areas of the repair world that the shops either don't know how or don't want to deal with. And we do. And we capitalize on the easy moments and the easy jobs, but then that comes with it comes along the stress and the things that don't work and the days where you just get your ass kicked job after job. Right. That seems to come in waves too, for sure.
Oh, big time.
Or what was it? AT&T's network went down, and everything that we use is off the AT&T network.
Right. Yeah, that was a fun half a day there for sure. Yeah, that's the problem with technology is like something's going to be broken every day. You can figure like you're going to deal with a problem on something. You just expect it. It's going to happen. Deal with it. Figure it out. Have backups. Have ways around it. Pivot. Whatever you got to do.
Just being ready and prepared. Kind of like today, I was ready and prepared to do a video. I even shaved my chest.
That is smooth for everyone listening.
Told you I was going to get that in there.
Good. All right. How hairless is your chest, Steve?
Not very.
Cool. Well, that's a perfect place to wrap this up then.
Steve's non-hairy chest.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for spending the afternoon here with me. Appreciate it, and we'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Thanks for the tacos.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. That's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you to Mike and Steve for joining me on the show, and I'd like to thank everybody out there for listening as well. Always appreciate it. Always appreciate all the feedback, and also if anyone has any ideas for an episode they would like to hear as far as content goes or a guest, reach out to me. You can find my email in the show notes. Probably the best way to get a hold of me. Otherwise, you can try Facebook Messenger as well. But other than that, let's get out there, start fixing the world one car at a time.